What's up, everybody? Welcome to the 3 and Out YouTube page. I'm John Middlekauff, and we are talking football all day, every day. Make sure you subscribe, like the video, share it with your friends. Let's roll, baby. Me and Coward, we discussed Belichick on Sunday and the situation, when it comes to defensive coaches and kind of his fall from grace and the situation once Brady left, how bad it got, and also the reflection of his assistants, because I guess the way the conversation started was comparing him to Andy. And if Andy wins another Super Bowl, how good's Andy's been? I mean, he's gone to the playoffs with like McNabb, Garcia, he's Feely, Alex, Mahomes, Michael Vick. I mean, he's won with a lot of different quarterbacks. Has won Super Bowls with them all, but went to the playoffs. We saw Belichick moments Brady left. It was like, geez, what the hell is going on here? And I still defend Belichick because I know what I saw for almost 20 years. Was an elite coach. Obviously, him and Brady, perfect marriage. But you get out of that marriage, like some people outkick their coverage, right? And then you make them single again. It's like, okay, do that again. And some can do it no problem. Others struggle. And clearly Belichick, when it comes to the quarterback position, you could argue there are some question marks. But I think when you look at his assistants, one thing Bill really benefited from is the relationship he had with Tom. He could coach him like he was a backup guard, scream at him, MF him, call him out. That just doesn't typically happen. It doesn't mean Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar, Peyton Manning, Roethlisberger, you name all the best quarterbacks, Rodgers, aren't getting coached hard over the course of their career. They are treated differently because they are different. They're the most important guy on the team. They're the highest paid guy on the team. And you can't really function without that guy. And there was a story, it wasn't even a story, there was a video that kind of went viral today. And it was Tua, who people probably listen to this think, I hate Tua. A lot of respect for the guy. Honestly, I think he's a really high character guy, and he is maximizing all of his potential in the NFL. My issue with the Tua situation is don't love paying him $50 million a year. But that's more of a salary cap, team building standpoint. He's proven more than a functional NFL starter. I think we could debate where he lands, in terms of the 32 starters, but he's a legitimate NFL starter. I've never said otherwise. I also think Tua came from Alabama, where you would say Nick Saban's pretty old school, and he's a hard ass on most people. He coaches people hard. And Tua was taken back by Brian Flores. I just want you to listen to this exchange that he had with Dan Le Batard about the difference of being coached by Mike McDaniel and Brian Flores.
To put it in simplest terms, if you woke up every morning and I told you you suck at what you did, that you don't belong doing what you do, that you shouldn't be here, that this guy should be here, that you haven't earned this right, and then you have somebody else come in and tell you, dude, you are the best fit for this. Like, you are accurate, you are the best whatever, you are this, you are that. Like, how would it make you feel listening to one or the other? You see what I'm saying? And then you hear it, regardless of what it is, the good or the bad. And you hear it more and more, you start to actually believe that. I don't care who you are. You could be the president of the United States. You have a terrible person that's telling you things that you don't want to hear, or that you probably shouldn't be hearing. You're going to start to believe that about yourself. And so that's sort of like what ended up happening. And it was, it's basically been, 2 years of training that out of not just me, but, a couple of the guys as well that have been here since my rookie year all the way till now.
I think one overarching angle that all these Belichick assistants take is clearly they just try to copy Bill and are awful with quarterbacks. Patricia didn't get along with Stafford. Obviously, Flores was a royal a-hole to Tua. Josh McDaniels, that situation when it came to quarterback and Derek Carr blew up after a year. We can debate Derek all we want. He gets along with everybody because I think they saw the way Bill treated Tom and they try to do the same. That doesn't work. And Flores became pretty polarizing. The lawsuit, he claimed Stephen Ross tried to pay him to tank, which I got news for you. He should have, because that would have led to Joe Burrow. But would that have changed anything? Like, would he have treated Joe Burrow that much different than Tua? I don't know. I remember talking to an assistant years ago about Flores, and all these assistant coaches know their assistants. They talk to each other nonstop. And he was like, I can't even explain to you the things I'm hearing from the Miami offensive coaches. How terrible Flores is with those guys. And clearly that included Tua. And listen, I'm not acting, you know me, like Tua is some star here. But what's the point of beating the guy down every day? Like, he's on your team. You kind of need the guy. Are you questioning his mental toughness? He just comes from Nick Saban. This guy's not coming from Cal Poly or UC Davis. He's clearly been pushed and driven pretty hard. And if you can't deal with the offensive coaching staff / quarterback, you will never be a head coach in this league. So even if you remove the lawsuits and everything that happened with the alleged being paid 6 figures to tank, once you get the label of being awful with quarterbacks and awful with offensive staff members, and you're a defensive guy, you're untouchable. You really are. I mean, we can debate all we want about some of these defensive coaches. Mike Tomlin might have an awful season this year. It's because his quarterbacks suck. Not that he can't deal with them. Russell's just not good enough. Neither is Justin Fields. And if they end up going 7-10 and it's a disaster, it won't be because Mike can't handle that unit and that group and deal with those guys as human beings. Look at John Harbaugh, the way he deals with Lamar. He said like 2 weeks ago, I want him to be the best quarterback of all time. Any young person, if you make it to the NFL as a quarterback and you're a highly drafted guy, more than likely, like, you got some mental toughness to you. You really do. And if I'm going to draft you 5th overall, like, I have to believe in some of your intangible characteristics. And this goes back to Patricia. Matt Stafford was established. Couldn't stand the guy. Josh McDaniels and Derek Carr, that thing was a disaster, and it was bad fast. This to me, though, is like, I don't view Tua as some like hot take, just throwing things out there. You see it in his eyes. Like, this guy beat me down every single day. And if you're a young person in any walk of life, no matter what your industry is, no matter if you're the 5th pick in the draft or you're like an intern, at some firm, having some people to give you some positive reinforcement does help. It doesn't mean they can't be on your ass and push you to be better. Anyone worth their salt can take some of that. But if all you hear every single day, 24/7, is negative stuff, Bill could pull it off because no matter what, they were going to be in the AFC Championship game or win. Well, when you're not winning and you just have to deal with negativity all the time, no one can overcome that. It's not possible. It really isn't, because it's already negative that you're losing. And then it's just negative in your building. Like, I heard when Josh McDaniels was with the Raiders, the atmosphere in the building couldn't have been any worse. Like, that's not a way to operate in 2024. Like, times do change in terms of, I believe that guys in the NFL now still like to be pushed hard. Most of the good players have no problem being coached hard. Getting screamed, most of them, depending on your position, get yelled at all the time. But, like, is there anything substance behind it? Or is it just yelling to yell? Is it just being a dick to be a dick? And all I ever heard from people in the league, like, that's what was happening. And clearly you just listen to Tua, like, what'd you expect? And I'm telling you, like, Brian Flores, how could you hire him after watching that? How could you hire him? You're telling me the most important guy on my position, or on my team, the quarterback, the guy, if it goes well, I am going to pay by far the most money in the history of my team. and we're going to treat that guy crappy, it doesn't mean that you have to circle jerk him every day. It doesn't mean every day Andy and Veach come into the office, they get on their knees and they bow to Patrick Mahomes. But you kind of, not everyone should be treated the same. In some of these high-end industries, some people are more valuable than others. That's just a reality. And when I saw this, I was like, I had heard rumblings, obviously, but when you hear it coming from Tua's mouth, you go, yeah, I get it. I would have ran him out of town too. And don't expect to get hired when that's on your resume. I mean, I'm sorry. Because the other thing is, we can debate how much Tua's worth and should they have paid him. But another coach came in who's an offensive guy, treated him well, and they've gone to the playoffs 2 straight years. Because no one can argue Flores is a really good defensive coordinator. Knows what he's doing. Hell, when he was in Miami, they were good on defense. Like, Flores is really good. But if you can't deal with the quarterback, how can anyone trust you to run the team? Head shaking. Really is.